What's going on, everyone? It's Jesse here, and welcome back to the RAFscents channel. I'm so glad to have you as always, but today it's going to be a little bit cringe-inducing for some of you because we're going to be talking about blind buying fragrances. Some people are so against blind buying. They believe that you should always smell or sample what you're buying first, especially when you're talking about like a $200 or $300 bottle of niche perfume. That's a pretty big thing. Some people like me, though, we're nuts. We like to throw caution to the wind. We get this thrill of researching and listening to other reviewers and just taking their word for it, and we buy it. And I'm not going to lie, about half of my collection are blind buys. I've put a lot of research into it. I've done a lot of homework, and I've got about a 97% success rate. Most of them turned out just fine. A couple of them were misses. A couple of them were misses. But I've done pretty well. So if you'll have just a little bit of faith in me, I'm going to tell you about 7 fragrances today that are completely blind buy worthy. This is just my opinion, so you got to remember that. But just trust Uncle Jesse. I've got you. 7 blind buy fragrances. Let's check them out. So before we get to the fragrances, I do need to start off by saying that this video is Jesse leading by example, because all of the fragrances that I'm going to be talking about here were blind buys for me as well. I did not smell a single one of them before I purchased them. I reviewed the notes, I watched influencers like I just told you about, but none of these I sampled first. So there you have it. Jesse's doing it first. So first up on the safe blind buy list, let's start pretty simple. It's a summer banger that everybody should have in their collection, and it's really inexpensive Nautica Voyage. Okay, this is a very, very simple and easy blind buy, and if you don't have it, you should get it. You really should. It's only about $18 to $20, and it's got some really, really nice summery notes in there, like apple and lotus, oak moss, amber, things like that. But when they combine, they give it a good beachy feel. Now, a lot of people say that this fragrance has a bit of a synthetic smell, and I won't disagree, but sometimes a synthetic smell can actually give character to the fragrance, and it does that pretty well with this one. It lasts about 7 hours, 8 hours. It's great for hot weather. Worthy of a blind buy. And if you want to try to blind buy without blowing too much money, this is definitely the one to do it with. So next up is a fragrance that, if you've seen any of my TikToks, you'll know that this has a nickname. I have nicknamed this fragrance Snuggle Juice. It is Imperio Armani Stronger With You. One of the most romantic designer fragrances available to you, and it is super nice, very sweet. So you gotta be on the lookout for that. But it's got things like cardamom, a little bit of mint, some cinnamon, pineapple, vanilla, chestnut, ambergris, and all of those combined to just give you this warm, snuggly type of vibe with this scent. A lot of people even use this as their signature scent. I know a couple of my fellow TikTok influencers like Brand Scents and Jury's Fragrance, which everybody should go and follow if you're on TikTok. They love this fragrance as well. But I blind bought this one. It was about $75. I get about 8 hours of longevity. It's very strong. It does project quite well. I tell people, don't use this unless you're trying to tell your girlfriend that you love her or you're going to propose to her. This is a serious relationship fragrance, but definitely blind buy worthy. So check it out. So moving right along, we've got a fragrance that it's a gimme. It's almost too easy of a fragrance to put forward in a list that it shouldn't even be included in a list. But not everybody understands that, so that's why it's in the list. I don't even really understand my own logic there, but we're gonna go with it anyways. It's Versace pour Homme, and oh man, this is really good. I blind bought this because I saw so many people hyping it up. Everybody is saying how awesome it was, that it's really versatile and is a compliment beast. And I was like, you know what? I just got to have this in my collection. So I got it without really having any reason behind it. And I'm certainly glad I did. Like I said, it's definitely more for the spring and summertime, but I think it can be worn year round. It is very versatile. It's got some citrusy notes up top like lemon and bergamot, but it's also got some rose and neroli. It dries off into some clary sage with some musk and some amber on the bottom. Very, very similar to Chanel's Allure Homme Sport, but it's not quite a thick vanilla dry down as that other fragrance is. But it's not too terribly expensive. This is a 200 milliliter bottle, and I got this for $70, I think. It lasts about 6 hours, 5.5 sometimes, but it smells good enough to even have it in your collection for that price, to that performance, if you will. So Versace Pour Homme, one of the most easy blind buys you could ever think to make. Versace Pour Homme. What I'm trying to say is blind buy this, okay? Just blind buy it. Now, for this next fragrance, number 4 on the list, a lot of people actually started hating on influencers because it used to be a slept-on fragrances, but then once a few people found out about it, the news started getting out about how awesome it was, and so it went from affordable to kind of pricey. But it's still amazing and worth every penny of it. It is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. It's really funny. When I first discovered this fragrance, I was contacted by a guy that I used to know. I grew up in North Carolina. His name is Grant. I used to work with his wife at a hotel in Greensboro, North Carolina. And through her, we got to know each other. We followed each other on social media. He's a really, really cool guy, but he bought this fragrance from my recommendation. He blind bought it, and as soon as he smelled it, he turned around and bought, I think, 2 backup bottles. And we had so many great conversations over it, but this is a fall and winter scent exclusively, and it is super, super nice. Its main notes are benzoin and vanilla, but it's kind of a darker vanilla that just makes it very, very very thick and rich, almost like it's got a boozy, tobacco-y undertone right there. I really like the bottle too. It's sleek. The atomizer's kind of built into it with the sprayer, not the sprayer thing right here. But if you can find this online, it's worth even $75, $80. I get about 7 hours of longevity on this. It is incredibly, incredibly complimented by people that smell it, and this is definitely safe for a blind buy. I absolutely suggest you look into Mercedes-Benz Club Black. It is sexy. So let's go on to number 5, and let's talk about a fragrance that some people love to hate on. Not me. I think this is a really nice fragrance. It is Mont Blanc Explorer. This is the Eau de Toilette version. Now, a lot of people like to hate on this one because it has some very distinct similarities to Creed Aventus, as do 1.5 billion other fragrances on the market today. But I think this is different enough to be able to stand on its own, because the main notes in the Creed Aventus are blackcurrant, pineapple, and birch, along with a few other notes. But the main notes in here are going to be bergamot, some patchouli, some leather, some vetiver, akigala wood. It gives it a bit of a darker, spicier feel and not quite as sweet. So I believe this one to be a little bit more of a refined and even professional scent than the Creed Aventus is. Not to mention, you're only going to pay about 1/5 of the price. If you shop online for this one, you can find the 100 mils at about, I would say about $55, $60, and you won't have to pay the $375 for the 100 mils for Creed Aventus. It's great performance, gets about 8 hours of longevity. It's office safe. It's really, really good for formal events. It gives off really mature vibes as well. I blind bought this one. I wasn't disappointed at all. But with Mont Blanc, this is one thing to remember. Mont Blanc is one of the most marked up houses if you shop retail. You'll probably find this for about $110 at a place like Macy's or Dillard's or something. So be sure you shop any Mont Blanc fragrances online. All right, that's where you're gonna find them the cheapest, and that's where you're gonna get the best deals. So fragrance number 6, and I am super excited to talk to you about this one. This is a fragrance from the indie house of imaginary authors based in Oregon. It is called Memoirs of a Trespasser. It is an incredibly artistic fragrance because as soon as you smell it, it mentally puts you in a different place. So I'm gonna read the notes off to you, which are listed on the back. It is Madagascar vanilla, Gaiac wood, myrrh, bergamot, benzoin resin, ambrette seeds, and oak barrels. Now, let me tell you what it smells like when you put it all together. This smells like you were sitting beside a campfire roasting marshmallows. I've talked about this one a lot on my TikTok channel, and I'm not gonna stop talking about this one. Now, when you smell it from the atomizer, you can automatically pick up on the woody and vanilla notes very, very prominently. But when you spray it on your skin, it's actually more smoky than anything. Now, not in an offensive way by any means, but it definitely has that just walked away from the campfire, the smoke's kind of all in your clothes type vibe. It's really nice though. It's really, really cool. And like I said, not offensive. But what's really awesome as well is that the dry down doesn't really start until about an hour after you sprayed it on. And that's when the vanilla starts coming through. The smoke starts wearing off and it just opens up into this beautiful, artistic, and amazing scent profile. I get 10 hours of 3 sprays with this. Now the unfortunate thing is that it's only available in North America. So if you're one of my friends on the other side of either one of the ponds, it's not available to you as of yet. You just got to come to Disney World, let me meet up with you, buy you a beer, and we'll find a way to get this ordered for you. All right, so remember that chill factor I said some of you guys may get? Well, this is a time where you're probably gonna get it because we're talking about a niche fragrance for our last one. It is Parfums de Marly Layton, a totally blind buy worthy scent. And it is one of their best sellers and my favorite from the house. Oh, it is so good. So some of the notes that you're gonna find in here are apple, lavender, bergamot, some jasmine, some vanilla, sandalwood. It all combines to give it sort of this effervescent apple pie feel. And it's going to be best for the fall and winter time, but if it's not too humid outside, you can probably use it in the springtime or summer nights. Now the thing is, it is a very loud and powerful fragrance. 2 sprays will get you 12 hours and people will be able to smell you a block down the street. So now why is this blind buy safe? Well, this is a 75 milliliter bottle. If you were to shop this retail, you're gonna easily pay about $275 for this. But listen to me. I bought this fragrance from fragrancebuy.ca for $135. You heard me right, folks, $135. When I first told people that, they made me pull up my purchase history and prove it to them, but I promise you it is there, and you can find deals on this all over the internet, especially on that site. Most of the time they'll have a 75 ml bottle for about $160, $170, but that's like $100 less than you are going to find at retail, and it is still worth the buy. So Parfums de Marly Layton, blind purchase worthy even at that price. All right, let the freak out kind of die out, take a couple deep breaths, and trust me, you need this. All right, we made it through. Everybody feel that, that heavy weight just kind of lift off of your shoulders? We don't have to talk about blind buying anymore, but I'm still thankful that you made it through this video with me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure you hit the notification bell, all of that good stuff. Mainly, I just want to keep you guys around. I want to be there for you. I want to continue talking awesome fragrances. So be sure you go to the descriptions below, find me on my other social media channels, and follow me there as well. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you next time. Y'all be good.